Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome to our little "We Love You, David Paich" broadcast.
That's right.
Geez, I was every day now, and this is a feature we're going to be doing, and we started doing it off and on. Now we're doing it all the time of either giving out 20 quirky facts, or we're not going to do this today, but yesterday we did this with Nick Fleetwood. It was his birthday yesterday, and I'll just turn that down for you. That's that's the one thing we always forget to do, eh? We always forget to do that.
Except for I'm in charge of that, so that would be the one
No,
thing
that's
that
okay.
I forget.
That's okay. Anyway, so what we are going to do on Rocky Street Book, which this is being simulcast on Rocky Street Book and Rocky Street Music and on our Facebook, is just instead of doing today's your birthday, we did it for David Paich, but we just give out 25 or 10 interesting quirky facts that fans might not know. We're just waiting for people to come on, and just let me put. We should have our logo on here. Let me see if I can do the logo thing.
You're gonna work your magic.
There, our logo should be there now. There you go.
So we are surrounded. It's a little warm here today, and we are surrounded.
So I hope you can't hear the fans too much.
Yes,
but
let us know if you hear a humming sound because we have the fans on behind us.
Yeah.
So it just keeps us cool in here. So.
Thanks for the donations. We've gotten some new equipment, mostly behind the scenes and software that we've gotten for Final Cut Pro. And whenever people donate, we always put it towards equipment because you always need new things. We've got our little baffle here,
Things
which is
get
great.
outdated, or we like to upgrade.
Yeah, we kind of need to do it. So we're going to wait for some people to come on. But I think a lot of other people in the U.S. are dealing with. We're in Canada, but we have a lot of your weather, of course. Have some severe weather going on. We have some friends going to Disneyland who weren't even sure they were going to go, or they're going to Disney World. They're going to Florida, and they weren't sure. And congratulations to the Florida Panthers. I'm in Calgary, so I was rooting for Edmonton last night before we get going. It was sort of devastating.
I'm not a huge hockey fan myself.
I know, she was watching.
But I was in on it. I sat there and on and off on my phone because you don't realize how nerve-wracking it is to be watching this right down to the final 5 minutes. And you're like, ah.
That's why I stopped watching hockey, because I got too involved in it. Shannon's cousin's married to Matt Cook formerly of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I think that was the last final game that I'd watched, and that was quite a few years ago. We haven't talked to them in years, so there we go. I'm going to play some clips from David Paich and Louis Shelton, who worked with David's father, Marty, and has some things to say about David because they work together as well. Just some of our favorite, and as you can see, we have our Toto albums back there. Some of our favorite memories of talking to David Paich, because he is, when you say maestro, you gotta have props to be called a maestro. The fact that I told David this one day. I looked in the back of Serenade, and Longfellow Serenade's on that album, and that was a big hit. And I noticed his name there. I said, "What you?" I knew about Boss Gags and Cheryl Lynn, who played on Georgie Porgy when Toto got started, but David produced that, and of course was instrumental in Silk Degrees with Boss Gags, and a few albums after that. Then Steve Lukather joined on. It was a thing. Do we have a hello?
Hello, Kim Trickle. She says, hey, we're having a heat index of over 100 and temperatures mild to upper 90s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's insane. So June 25th, it's interesting that David Paich's birthday is on the same day that Michael Jackson died. Not the same day, but the same date, June 25th. And I remember, and of course, I say that for the folks who may not know, and I'm sure everyone does, that David Paich worked with Michael Jackson quite a bit. And Toto were instrumental in Thriller, which was the biggest Michael Jackson album, of course. I thought of coming on and doing a thing on Michael Jackson, but our lane is more in Toto. Then you have to pick your battles, right?
So true.
Do you remember the day we were in our 2 houses ago? We were in our house and we found out Michael Jackson. They were surrounding his house, just as an off topic here. And then they announced it. And I'm on there because we used to run the Rock History Music website. And it did really, really well. But I'm on there and I put Michael Jackson died. Or Michael, I said it wrong. And then a few people said, no, John. They were really nice. They said, no, we know you try to get it on really, really fast, but yeah, that was on June 25th, quite a few years ago. So David Paich was born in 1954. Happy birthday, David. One of the nicest guys, bar none, that I've ever interviewed. And we're gonna get some clips on this. This one is, and appropriately so. We're gonna start with Toto's loyal fan base. I'm not sure if this is interview 1, 2, or 3 with David, but here it goes. I find that the Toto fans who have, welcomed me in really well as far as covering you guys, which was nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're a different breed. They're the most loyal people that I've ever run into through talking to all the different rockers about their fans. The Toto fans, they're there, man. They're there for you.
They are. They're so loyal, and it means so much to us. We're so grateful, and we're so blessed that we have fans that are loyal and been keeping us going all these years, And it's the real reward is to go out when you go touring and you keep seeing these familiar faces that have been there for years, have just keep coming back and keep coming back. And it's almost like one big family, so it's very, Toto's very global, and we have fans all over the world and fans that travel from all over the world to see these concerts and stuff. So we're, like I said, we're very grateful to our loyal fans.
There we go. We're lagging like crazy. I'm going to have to go downstairs and plug us in directly into the
It says we're muted right now.
Are we muted? We shouldn't be muted. Where is this, honey?
It just came up on top. It said that we were.
No, we're not muted anymore. We're going to have to we're lagging like crazy. So we're going to wait till I'm going to do our next bit, and I'm going to go downstairs and put us directly into the modem. I'm not sure why it's so slow. That's ridiculous. But this clip is David Paich working with one of the greatest bands of all time, Steely Dan, brushes on Christopher Cross and other folks on rock history music. Michael O'Mardian told me that, and you probably know the story, that the reason Christopher Cross didn't want to work with him for the solo album, but when he heard he had been on a Steely Dan album, which was one of Christopher Cross's favorite bands, he said, "Come on in, produce my albums." What was that? What was your experience like? Like 1974, Pretzel Logic. Michael O'Mardian was there.
Yeah, that's right. I have the utmost respect for Michael O'Mardian. He's like one of my top 5 ultimate keyboard players. So I played on the Pretzel Logic album. I did Night by Night with Steely Dan, and of course Marty did all the rest, as well as Katie Lied. I did Black Friday and Dr. Wu on that album, and I don't know if I think they were using Michael at that time, and he was just he was a great that was a great union, him and Christopher Cross together. I still like listening to those songs. Very well produced and very musical, and you can really tell it's Michael O'Mardian. I know that Jeff and Hungate Lukather played on several of those Christopher Cross things. So we've been cross-pollinating here for a while here with between the Doobies and Christopher Cross and Michael McDonald and the West Coast family.
I've never run so fast in my life.
That was like a marathon.
I had to go to our basement. I don't know why we're lagging. It's so strange because we're hooked on directly into the modem.
Jumping stories. I was watching you from above. It was a great to
Yeah,
watch.
I think I lost 20 pounds trying to get there. So I'm sorry we're lagging today, which makes no sense because we're right inside the modem. Hold on. Let me make sure. This might get a little bit better. It should be getting better. We're going to get through these clips as we say happy birthday to David Paich. I'm out of breath. In this clip, we talk about the 7th one at Toto 4. David Paich is just the most interesting guy, but you can tell he's very humble. Did you get a feeling after that one, or? when it was released?
How do you mean?
Well, did you? I mean, listen, I would find it hard to believe that you guys released 4, and I know you were under the gun with number 4, to think that you guys didn't think you had something. Well, let's start there. You must have thought you had something.
Oh yeah, we thought we had something on Toto 4 album.
Yeah,
Kentucky. Yes, absolutely. Well, we knew it before because we'd played together so much. We just wanted to connect with everybody else, so everybody else would know how strongly we felt about our own stuff, and we were into it, and we were sure we could get it by other people, that there would be other people if we would make our own music. I was going to tell you something else off the 7th one. Sure. We didn't release the right single on that. The single should have been Stay Away with Linda Ronstadt singing on it. And the deal was with Peter Asher, Linda will sing on your record, but you can't release it for a single, or the first single, or whatever, you know what I mean? Because she didn't want to have to make a comeback being a rock and roll singer. And so we said, okay, we'll use Linda, but you can't release it as the first single. And I had radio station people calling me all around the United States. Man, we're on this record's blowing everybody off the charts and everything like that. So that was one of those missed calls where we might have made it over the edge right there, But
going back from 4 to, and a few years later to 7, but you didn't get a feeling, because on first listen, I listened to 7 and I went, this is like, to me, it was as good as 4. I mean, everyone's right when it comes to music. Right. Everyone has an opinion, but to me, I went nuts on this album. I went, oh my God.
Yeah, 7's we like that. That's why Jeff, I think, went back to the Sword on that one there, as far as an album cover goes. And because we felt the connection between that and Toto 4. We had, when we were doing Pamela, we thought, man, this is right where we left off, like with Rosanna.
When I heard Running Out of Time from 14, I remember I asked Luke this multiple times, going, where do you get these like guitar riffs thing? And then I'm listening to Spirit of the Moonrise, and I'm going, here we go. What the hell?
I know. He's off the Richter scale as a guitarist. He's in my top 3 guitarists, and he's 2 of them, So he's just unbelievable. I'm trying to analyze how he plays the solos and his lines. And he's just, like I said, he's like a phenomena, a wunderkind, as far as I'm concerned.
Love hearing. We're even choppy here. Look at. Isn't that odd?
Hopefully not lagging too much.
Well, I've closed all my programs, so we're gonna have to do some checking. Do you have?
Hi, Shan and John from Neutral 69, asking if it's hot here in Canada.
Yeah, it's really hot.
It's warm.
We don't have air conditioning in our house, and this is the front of the house here. This is our bedroom. So it's the first time we've had a house where our bedroom's in front. And but wherever we are, it seems like we're always south facing.
Always, but we're
with
north.
a bedroom, and this time our bedroom was in front, and it's still south facing. So,
Neutral 69 asked, both of your favorite songs by Toto. What's one of yours that you really like? Your favorite one?
Oh, I'm still a sucker for. Well, you're such a Rosanna fan. You like Rosanna.
I do. I also like Georgie Porgy.
Yeah, from the first album.
From the first album.
I liked almost everything on the 7th one. Pamela was all when I saw the video for Pamela, there was something. Well, the Pamela girls in the video. I was telling this to Joseph Williams, that Balthazar Getty married the main girl in the Pamela video, from the famous Getty family, and she's still incredibly beautiful. Like, she's a socialite now, and I mean, she was a model back then. She's in a few different videos, but most notably in the Pamela video. But I liked everything on the 7th one, except the extra track, 7th one. I didn't really like that song very much. But this is a clip from Louis Shelton, who worked with Marty Paich, who's David Paich's father. And I just asked him, well, I'll just play the clip. It's self-explanatory. By the way, is Goodbye your favorite Elton? What's your favorite album from Elton?
I have to say Madman Across the Water. I have so many albums that are my favorite. The first album is my favorite, and Madman. But Madman Across the Water has Levon on it, and Levon's one of the greatest songs ever written and greatest records ever made to me. So, and I have just yeah, I can't say enough about Elton John. How what a big influence he had on my life. And the greatest story I love telling is when Rosanna received Record of the Year. Elton was the first guy to stand up out of the audience and applaud and everything. And it doesn't get any better than that, you know.
Yeah, he likes Toto. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm doing a live feed.
Really?
Yeah,
Please tell Caleb I said hello.
I will. He is such a cool guy, like just a
Yeah.
laid back guy. Hasn't
What a
talked
great
to Elton.
guitar player. What a great guitar player.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
did you hear the story about the new Britney thing with Tiny Dancer?
No, I didn't hear the story.
Well, what happens is there was this hidden riff that Caleb did in that song that was kind of buried in the mix.
Oh,
So
right. Okay.
the new producer hears it when he strips everything away and he goes, "What is this? Is this Jimi Hendrix?" Because it was influenced by Jimi Hendrix. Caleb told me that. So I got a hold of him right away to get the background of it. And I've got goosebumps actually talking about this right now because I love Madman so much.
Yeah, right.
Indian Sunset, all that stuff. Indian Sunset made me cry.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
So All the Nasties, by the way, just as an aside, All the Nasties, for a song about self-betrayal and betrayal in general, that song, the first 4 words of that song, I have sung in my head. It tells a lot about my psyche, I guess, in my head more than any other song. Because we all have these songs that we hum, and sometimes we're not conscious of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Caleb said the producer found it and made it the focal point of the new Elton Britney.
That's great. I can't wait. I haven't heard the Elton Britney thing yet, but I can't wait to hear it now and knowing that little tidbit. Thank you for that. You know.
How did you bring, you knew Marty, obviously. You know David through his dad, Marty, right?
Yes. Well, Marty was the conductor on the Campbell Show, which I did for 2 years. And David was still in high school, but he would come down after school to our rehearsal and whatever. And he was prone to come over to where I was because I had the electric guitar and wah-wah pedal and stuff like that. And, you know, his eyes were big. And Jeff Piccaro's dad, Joe Piccaro, was the percussionist. And so those two were buddies, and they would come down. That's where I got to know them. Yeah, his dad was such an incredible arranger. You know, he did great stuff. I don't know the list of big stuff he did. I know he did the big Ray Charles country album. He did the arrangements for that, but he did so much stuff that I can't even mention. But yeah, we started using David Paich and Jeff Piccaro on the Seals and Crofts records. That was some of the first work they did. David played on Diamond Girl, and he's just a great musician and a great person. Yeah.
I asked him, what if Toto wouldn't have happened? Where would David Paich, what would have happened to David Paich? And he said, I thought I might have worked with Louis. He says, I think I would have worked with him.
Well, you know, when we were doing the Boss Skaggs album, that was basically the 3 main Toto guys. Yeah. It was David, Jeff Piccaro, and David Hungate on bass. And during that session, and this is a sad story, David mentioned to me that they're thinking about being a group, you know, because at that point they were just individual session players. But he said, we're thinking about being a group. Would you be interested in being in our group, you know? And I said, oh, I don't think so. I had tried it earlier, a couple of years earlier, with some session guys, and it just turned out to be a jam session and never went anyplace. So, but the thing that I didn't recognize at that time was that David was a real writer, because he wrote half the stuff on that album. So that was the missing link in the first band that I tried to do something with. There was no writers there, so you really didn't have any material, whereas David was a great writer. And but I mean, obviously Steve Lukather, well, he was already, I think, a friend of theirs, and obviously he was the guy for that gig.
Played the wrong clip in wrong order, but we're back. I just figured out what happened, and then I realized that was wrong. I thought some of these clips that we have, they're huge files. They're really, really big. The Louis Shelton one you just saw, the guitarist who produced all of Seals and Crofts and played with the Monkees, and he was just a major session player from the Wrecking Crew. But I thought, well, this is it. They're big files. They're these big ones. Now we have smaller files when we do them. But we're jamming. Like you and I are jamming.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be jamming. So I'm not sure what's going on. Happy birthday to David Paich.
Yes.
Born in 1954, son of Marty Paich. Played with so many people. Helen Reddy. Played with Seals and Crofts, Boss Skaggs, Michael Jackson, and it's the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death today as well. Our next clip is of Cheryl Lynn, To Be Real. And Cheryl ended up being produced, and David Paich and his dad were heavily involved in that project. And of course, she ended up singing on Georgie Porgy. So this is, I think I've got my clips right this time. Let's see, talking about Cheryl Lynn. Speaking of working with your dad, Cheryl Lynn, I didn't ask you last time about that. That wasn't, see, I wasn't into R&B music at all or dance music at all at the time. And I heard that song, To Be Real, and I rushed out and I went out and bought that album like right away.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Tell me
so
about that
glad to hear
experience.
That was great. That was my dad had heard her on the Gong Show, and he called someone at CBS Sony, it was Columbia Records at the time, called, he knew Bruce Lundvall and the president. And my dad said, I'd really like to work with her. So she had just started a solo album, but it wasn't going in the right direction, apparently. And so they turned it over to me and my dad. And that was the first thing. I had this riff that I would play for, hours and hours and hours, which was the opening riff to the song there after the intro is actually. And that was a real easy record to make. We had Ray Parker, myself, James Gadsden, and David Shields on bass. That was a couple songs. And then we brought Bernard Purdy and Chuck Rainey in, and David T. Walker in for a few songs. And what a life-changing experience it was. We getting to play with all those guys. And it was a fun album.
That album still sounds great. Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
What a classy guy, huh? We're going to cut things short because of how we're lagging. I'm not sure why. It's not the internet, as I found out. It's Ecamm Live, for whatever reason, is jamming on us. And I noticed when I was doing these little vignettes in the last few days that when I was looking up, the vocals were good, but for whatever reason, there was a lag time with the video. So we're not sure what's going on. But I want to thank all the folks who came on today. Yes. And also, a lot of the comments are coming up on here, and they're not coming up on our iPad, which is really strange.
So we're sorry if we've missed some people.
Yeah.
In for sure.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to repost this, and if the quality of this video is really bad, we'll take it down, but we'll try to repost it. So anyway, folks, thanks for joining us. We're going to do more live feeds in the summertime, and it's John Bowden, Shannon Edwards, and Rock History Music. Take care.